Hello, everybody, and
Hello.
welcome to this week's live Q&A. I am here with Shelley from Letters by Shells. Welcome,
Yay.
Shelley.
Hi, thank you.
And it's funny because like this program just reads whatever the name is on your Facebook account. So right now it says your name is Shell Shells.
I know, yeah. I know. I didn't know how to connect it to like my Letters by Shells account so well, but
That's okay. It's perfect. Anyway, real name is Shelley, not
yeah,
Shells. But do people actually call you that?
yeah, yeah, they do. Yeah, a lot of people think my name is Shells. I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll just all go with it.
Perfect. Okay, well, people
Yes.
can call you either.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
Shelley is going to be walking us through a bunch of different ways. We said three when we announced it, but I think there's actually going to be far more than three tips that she's going to give us on how to use these babies.
Yay.
And I said this when I introduced Shelley as our next guest, but this is Shelley's lettering on the package,
Yeah.
which is really awesome.
Thank
So,
you.
nobody better to explain to us how to use these things
Yeah.
than her.
Right.
And so, just before we get into that, Shelley, can you just explain to us like who you are, when you started doing all of this stuff, kind of your story?
Oh yeah, totally. Okay, so I'll definitely keep this like short and simple, but basically my whole story started back in 2015, which wasn't long ago, but I started this whole like process when I used to work in insurance and it was really stressful at the time. I wanted to have a different creative outlet. So I explored Instagram and different like positive affirmations, which I'm glad I did. The whole reason behind that is because I wanted to decorate my cubicle and just, basically have motivation to go to work. And then I didn't realize by looking that all on Instagram and like social media, it opened my eyes to like hand lettering, typography, and calligraphy. So that's basically how I came across that. And once I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to decorate like my own cubicle, like with certain quotes that I want to resonate with. So that's what I ended up doing. I tried practicing over and over again. So I guess for me, it provided an escape during my full time job. And then after a year, I invested into lettering. I was like, hey, like, what's the next step? I don't know what I'm gonna do with like with calligraphy or lettering, but I decided to leave my full time job. So I decided just to pursue this like other creative lifestyle just because it made me more happy and it made me a lot more happier than going to work. And I don't know how I managed to like put it all together, but I mean, it all worked out. And that's the reason why calligraphy it opened another like set of like patience and eyes for me because it's not just like an art form to me, but it kind of gave me a new purpose in life to like kind of like start over and really pursue like what I want to do.
Yeah, and I think that's such a good, cool story because I think so many people can relate to that. I think a lot
Totally.
of people pick up lettering for the same exact reason.
Mm-hmm.
So these days, then, what is your like? I mean, this is a weird question to ask, but like, where do you make most of your money on lettering? Like, how are
Yeah.
you making a living doing it?
No, I know. So right now, so every year has been like a different focus. Like my first year was just like rebranding and like seeing exactly like what worked, which is why I'm all about spreading positivity and love. It's because I remember, being in that time place where I needed that positivity drive. That's the reason why that was my focus that first year. The second year, I did do like different like custom work and wedding work. I wanted to see if that was the industry that I wanted to fall into. And last year was like working to see how I can collaborate with different companies and all that fun stuff. So this year has been definitely different where I still want to maintain that like relationship with like working with different custom orders with clients along with working with different companies. But then I don't know, this year I've been doing a lot more workshops and I've been doing a lot of like ways just to like have people get started because I really love this art and I believe in it and I feel like everyone should do it with all of us.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
that is my income source is like it's in multiple different like directions, but this is what works right now.
Cool. And you had mentioned that you were working with some companies, which is exactly how you would have gotten
Yeah,
started with this.
yeah, totally. So I was so blessed and honored when they like they actually reached out to me. So a lot of the times I'm reaching out to companies and like giving them like ideas, but yeah, I don't know. I was like, why do you want me? I even asked them that. I was like, why? Why did you choose me? Like you could have asked anyone, right? They were saying how they're like a family owned business and her parents liked my lettering.
That's amazing. I
Yeah.
love it.
So it was fun.
So I think that we should just get right into playing with these things then,
Yeah,
because they're sitting
totally.
in front of me and I know I want to try
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
You can tell how little I've ever used them. I don't use them very often, but
I
I've
have a
always wanted
brand.
to.
No, it's okay. I have a brand new one, and then I have like a used one. So now I totally get it. But yeah, Becca, really fast. I wanted to join the Facebook group too.
Oh, okay. I
I'm
thought you
sorry.
were in there already.
I know I wasn't. I'm
No,
so sorry.
that's okay. That's
I'm
okay.
sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. Such a hot mess when it comes to this. Maybe.
Did
Oh,
you
I found it. I'm silly. I found it. Yay. Okay.
so
Yeah, no, I found it. There's a lag to it though, right?
yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to turn your phone
Yeah.
onto your hands or however you want to go ahead and walk us through using these things. I don't know if it's easier to do half on your hands or half on your face or how you want to do that.
Okay, we can do face painting. I'm kidding. No, no. Okay, I'll go ahead and turn my camera around so you can see all the fun goodies. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna work with the direction I'm working with. So awesome. So basically,
Shelley, are you actually able to turn it,
oh
turn your
yeah,
phone
just
the other way? Just because it's lands, well, now it's upside down.
I'm so sorry, everyone.
There we go. Perfect.
Oh my god. Okay. Yay.
Excellent.
Okay. So I have like a fun treat for you all. Basically, yeah, this is centered, right? Okay. So basically, Coliro Colors came out with their brand new line last night, which is their Galaxy themed edition. So it's super different. It doesn't have like ripple effects, but it has a different like texture and feel to them, and the colors are completely brand new. So I wanted to go ahead and show you all that because I think it's a fun treat just to go ahead and explore and see how that one works. Along with their other palettes, like let's say if you just wanted a specific like I guess if you didn't want to choose a palette that like you can hand select yourself, you can basically choose like one of their ones that are already pre-made, and each one has like different themes to it. This one has like a candy theme to it. And for example, this one has like, of course, like the original gold palette. So that's that. And also, if let's say you have all the colors and all the palettes already, but you wanted to pick out certain pods, you can basically do your own custom edition palette where you can hand select each of the different colors and buy this tin set individually. And yeah, so that's pretty much the different ideas, kind of like what products they do have available online. And
So
also,
Shelley, those Galaxy ones you said are like
yeah,
they just were released.
yes, they just released last night. So, well, for me last night, for them it was like the morning. But yeah, so when they finally posted about it, I was like, yes, I can share everyone this beautiful palette.
They're so pretty.
Yeah,
Like I wouldn't even want to wreck that.
I know, and I did already. No, so let me go ahead and give you like a quick preview on like I did like different swatches and stuff yet last night. It's just the colors are very different. I've never seen them like in their it's not similar to any of the other colors they have available. So I think it just adds like a cool touch to them. So definitely, I think they're definitely worth checking out. And like this one is like completely new where it has like sparkles in them.
So pretty.
Yeah, so I thought that was really neat. But yeah, so which palette should I all do first? I don't know if people are like asking which ones, but I'd love just to go ahead and dive right into it. We can do both contrast on black paper and white paper as well.
I think let's play with that new one.
My new one? Yes, okay. I'm all for it. So, what I had in mind for this whole project was this. For today, I want to go ahead and showcase using a paintbrush, water brush, along with a pointed pen by Ink Me This. So, yay! So, I'll go ahead and start with the paintbrush first. I can show you all how to use that and get started. I hope that sounds great.
Yep, that's perfect. So that's a Princeton brush.
Yes, Princeton round brush. It's their heritage line, and it's number round 4.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you all still see okay? Just want to make
Yep.
sure. Okay, perfect. So basically, all the tools that you really need when you are working with like the Pearl Colors palette is basically having a glass of water as well, just to go ahead and rinse out your brush for using each color. So the way the Pearl Color sets, do work is that you have to put a generous amount of water in the beginning. And you basically let that water sit for like a couple of seconds. And then you start working with your brush, working the water into the pigments, where our goal is to make into like a kind of like a creamy thick paste. That makes sense. So basically, I know this is kind of, sometimes it takes some time, but as long as you get that creamy texture, then you're all set.
So, Shelley, does everybody
Yeah.
mix directly on those palettes, or do some people kind of use like a separate palette to take some paint off and stuff like that?
So I know with the gold palettes, so I think, okay, so this is what I've done. This is what I've seen other people do as well. They'll take a few of the color into another palette if they're like doing like detailed work with the Pearl Colors. But when you're just wanting to use the palette directly, then I just recommend honestly just using it directly from the palettes.
Right.
Yeah, so I hope that helped. Okay, so with the black sheet of paper, I hope the contrast you can see it. So I'm gonna do with the black paper first because I just think the colors are so fun and I want you to like really see the contrast of everything too.
And
So
is that just like a plain cardstock, just any old
it is,
cardstock?
yeah, it's just a plain cardstock, nothing fancy. I wish they had black watercolor paper. That'd be really neat,
Hmm.
but no. Okay, so basically, let me go ahead and I hope you can see the contrast when I'm using this. Do you see it?
Yeah, yeah, beautiful.
Awesome, yay. Okay. So basically, with Pearl Colors as well, like there are some colors that when you first I guess like use them, you don't see how like opaque it is first. Once it dries, then you'll see like all of the shine to it too. And that's only with certain colors though, like but not with all. But just wanted to kind of give you that tip though. So yeah, how's that?
Beautiful.
Yay. So let's go ahead and use like for example, I'm gonna switch over. So actually, I'm sorry, they have names. Basically, this is like their flyer they kind of gave out with them. This one's called Sunbeam, and this one's like Supernova, Deep Space, Dark Star, Meteor, and Moonlight. I don't know if y'all wanted to, but I'm sure that Becca can like link it below too. Yeah, so basically, I'm gonna go ahead and use our dark star, which is basically the color is black, but it has like shimmer into it. So when you do apply, when I was gonna do it like on black and black, I was thinking that no one could see it, but after it dries, you can totally see it.
I
So
always love the look of black ink on black paper.
I think it looks so neat, and it adds a different element to everything. Yeah. Do you see it? Okay. Like
Yeah,
you
I'm sure it gets darker and shinier when it dries, but
Yeah. So basically this is like kind of like the idea behind it. So I thought it was like a fun color to work with last night. I was like, "Oh, this is like different." But yeah, cuz then I know that they do have like a similar color, but this one has way more shine to it though. Okay. So I'll just wait for that to dry. But yeah, Becca, are there any other colors that I should try on this palette? Is there one that's like really speaking to you?
I think I want to see the pink one.
The pink one? Yes. Okay.
But just as you're working on that, we had a question from somebody whether or not those pans are individually sold or if you have to buy them all as a set. Do you know?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Okay. I don't know if they're launched as individual sets yet. I haven't checked their website. And the reason why I say that it might be sold in like as a set only for now is because it was like their whole like galaxy theme that they wanted to promote.
But the old ones, like the regular outside of the Galaxy line, the rest of them are individually sold as well.
Totally, yeah. So the individual ones, yeah, are the original palettes you can. but I will double check online too and see.
And so do most people buy these directly from their website or do they buy them from other sources like Jet Pens or anything?
Oh no, there are like so many people that carry them. I personally buy mine directly through their website.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I just um, since I know them directly, I ask them to like send me flyers and stuff. So that's the reason why it's easier. But I know you can also purchase their stuff on like Amazon, and it's sold any like mostly at every craft store.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but great questions. Thanks for asking. Okay, so then how's the pink one?
So nice. Gotta get those.
Yeah, no, it's so different. Like I don't know how to like pinpoint it on like I mean they have over 100 colors and I've never seen anything like it before. Yeah.
So, Shelley, what happens if you add too much water to those?
What
Like,
happens?
how do you know exactly how much water you should have on
I
your paintbrush?
I know. So their recommendation on their flyer is like adding 3 drops into them. But typically when I over like I mean I used to be lazy before and I used to like pour water directly into the palettes. And when that happens, just let the water sit for a couple like 5-10 minutes and it's just gonna go ahead and evaporate.
Okay, so
So then
if there's too much water like on your brush or anything, I guess the inks would just be a little bit less vibrant when you put them on the
yeah,
paper. Yeah.
it's still gonna work just as fine, but it's just gonna be more yeah, it's not gonna be as opaque and it just might be a little bit more runny, but other than that, it's still like you can still use it though.
Okay.
Yeah, so sometimes if I add way too much water, I just let it sit there until, because then our goal is to get like a creamy texture when we're using it.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do a quick swatch with this one. It's their deep space one. Yeah, so then now I'll go ahead and switch over to like another medium, but I hope this was like kind of cool just to see that.
I think it's awesome that we're kind of getting a sneak peek of those if they're so brand new.
I know, yeah. So I haven't even posted it on my Instagram yet. So this is like, I'm excited that I get to share it with you all. I held off on posting on Instagram because I was like, oh, this is special for today.
Awesome. I
Yeah.
feel very, very special.
Yay. So basically, here's that palette. I can go ahead and switch over to any other color palettes. Do I have any like, or are there any recommendations? People that are watching?
No, no, I think you're free to
Okay.
do whatever.
Yeah, so this is one of their palettes that everyone knows them for, like their iconic gold palette. And this is my brand new one that I just keep, but I actually have like a used one. So here's the one that's all used up and everything. Okay, so then with that, they have basically different variations of gold along with their silver color as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and use one of my favorite colors, which is I believe it is the it's gonna be this one. It's gonna be their Arabic gold color. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. For this one, I'm gonna go ahead and use a water brush. I have a yeah, this is like the Pentel water brush that I'm using here. And because there's water already filled in it, let's go ahead and just add a couple of droplets into the palette already.
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know how those pens work, they actually twist apart and you can add water to them. So you don't have to have a
Yeah,
glass of water to dip into.
yeah, totally, just like that. Yeah. But my only thing is that when I do use this brush, I do tend to have a glass of water in handy just in case if I want to switch over to different colors. I don't want like the golds to mix. I mean, like you totally can, but I don't know. I like sometimes I just want to have like different options available for me too. Okay, so basically, this is like a perfect example where I added like way too much water. Do you see like the water running a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then this is a case where if you add way too much water, it's okay. Just let it sit for like a couple of minutes, like maybe like 1 or 2 minutes, and it should become a little more creamier. But I mean, we all have our own preferences too, because if I were to use this directly, it would still work just as fine. It's just that maybe after every couple of strokes, I may have to dip my paintbrush back into it.
And I find too when there's too much water, depending what kind of paper you're using, it'll warp the paper a little bit
Oh,
too.
yeah, no, that's definitely a case, especially that I'm using cardstock for this. And so just kind of like be aware like of how much water you do use.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then with this example, I'm going to actually do a few swatches using the black cardstock, but then I will switch over to um, watercolor paper and then just kind of see how I were to, if I wanted to use this metallic palette, like how can I incorporate that to like watercolor washes and all that fun stuff. Yeah, so let me go ahead and demonstrate this a little bit. Is there a particular word I should write? Maybe I should write Becca.
How about, well, like a phrase? You could write the happy ever crafters at some point.
Oh yeah, we can do that. Can you all see that okay? Okay.
Mhm.
Awesome.
So
So
you
then,
pretty much dip in between every stroke.
yes, totally. Yeah. And it's just because I want it to be like, not everyone does it. But for me personally, when I look at it, I want it to be the exact same color for everything. And I want it to be just as opaque from beginning to end. Yeah. So that's the reason why I typically tend to dip after every letter. But are there any other questions that I can answer while I'm doing this piece?
Someone asked if consistently adding too much water to a palette, if that would dilute it and make it dull over time. Have you
Oh,
found
yeah.
that?
Oh, that's a good question. I thought the same thing too. And I was like, oh no. But one time I did way too much water. And I've experimented with it. The water will just evaporate. And like, just like any other watercolor brand, it's meant to hold a lot of water and just evaporate over time, but the pigments will still be the same.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So no, I get that. I mean, I used to pour water into them directly. So that was a hot mess.
Yeah. Yeah, I know some people use like an actual dropper. You can buy droppers at the craft store and fill those with water. But um, I find whenever I do that, I just add too much water by accident to it.
Yeah. So like, just like right now earlier, I used the water brush and I added way too much water as well.
So if
Yeah.
you had a choice between just a paintbrush or a water brush, would you choose the paintbrush?
I would choose a paintbrush. And it's because also I learned it that way too, especially when you're using pointed pen, you still have to also use a paintbrush as well. Yeah.
Which you'll demonstrate in a minute, right?
Yes, totally. Yeah. So let me go ahead and kind of move this up a little bit.
You're welcome to not have to, you don't have to write the whole phrase if you don't want to. I know it's a long one.
I know I let her really slow. Okay. Maybe it'll be to be continued.
Yep, for sure.
But yeah, so basically this is the my favorite gold color that we used, which is the Arabic gold. But I think it's just a really pretty gold. Not that their other golds aren't pretty, but I just think it has like a really nice shine to it. Yeah. So then, should I demonstrate one more gold color and then we'll go ahead and, or actually, I'll do this. I wanted to go ahead and show you like different washes to use, and then we'll switch over to the pointed pen option as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and put this to the side, but I just wanted to go ahead and use the black paper to show you the contrast of the gold and the metallics on black paper. Yeah, I think it's so pretty. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and use just like regular watercolor paper as well for this example. And I wanted to go ahead and use, I'm going to do something different where I'm going to incorporate another color to it as well, like Ecoline, and with the pearl colors. So I'll go ahead and just do a couple of washes where I'll do different variations of it. But hopefully, um, yeah, I guess if let me know if you have any questions too throughout. So for this example, basically, I'm going to go ahead and dip my paintbrush directly into the eco lines. And let's go ahead and do a couple of swatches. So first, I'm going to use the eco line first, and like just kind of like use a generous amount of it, and just kind of like pull that color down. So I don't know if it looks like a hint of green here. My cup of water I was using it for something different earlier. Yeah, oops, oh my gosh. So basically, I'll go ahead and add that color first. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the metallic colors and basically just kind of like fill in those swatches a little bit. I haven't done this watercolor background in a long time, so hopefully it looks okay. And basically now go back into the eco line. So every time I'm doing this, I am dipping or I'm rinsing my paintbrush in water again. I don't want the metallics to mix together. So basically, you kind of get the overall concept, right? Where I'm just kind of alternating colors, and it's because I wanted to add like a fun shimmer to it with the watercolor backgrounds. Okay. I hope this looks okay.
I love how they just bleed into each other.
Yeah,
So
no,
nice.
I know. I think it's like so neat too. And basically I'll go ahead and grab a few gold and just kind of like line the bottoms of it a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and line the top part just to go ahead and match that. And basically, I know it doesn't look like much now, but basically you can litter on top of that, like with different, like just like anything with different quotes and all that fun stuff. And it's still wet right now, but basically the overall concept is that it has like a really fun shimmer to it. You can see.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the reason why I love using just like a mixture of paints and along with this as well. I've seen also a lot of people wanting to do this where they'll go ahead and grab their just like any paint. I'll go ahead and kind of like mix it down here. They'll add like their ecoline paints or just any paint right here, and then they'll go ahead and use the metallic color and mix that color into the pink. So then it has like a pink hint to it now. Have you seen people do that before, Becca?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So basically, do you see like how I'll go ahead and kind of put it up close too, but it's supposed to be like golden pink now. Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't have to buy so many different versions of the color. You can just kind of mix your own.
Yeah, totally. So I think it's just really fun to use, and like of course the more gold you use, it'll just have like a small hint of pink to it. Yeah, but I think it's like really neat. What other? I guess. Was there any other questions about the gold palette? Because I can switch over to another color palette.
Someone just asked if, because the texture of those is creamy, do you find that they last longer or do they last less long?
They last. They last the same as like other watercolor paints that I've used before.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it just depends on like how much you like. I guess how opaque do you want the pieces to be too?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I think yeah, I don't know if that answered your question. I'm so sorry, but no, it works the same way.
And
As
then someone else is asking if those pigments have a grainy texture to them.
no, they don't. So then I guess it depends on which ones. Like I feel like there have been some colors that I've used where I felt like it had a grainy texture, but I mean, if you mix the water well enough, then it does dissolve because the graininess is just the pigments.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but great questions. So basically, this is kind of like it's drying a little bit, but do you see like the pink and
Yeah.
gold contrast? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can letter on top of that later, if you'd like. But let's go ahead and switch over to the with the pointed pen.
Mm.
Awesome. Yay. And really fast, did I already show this earlier? Like the whole like overview. I did, right?
Yeah, just briefly.
Okay. So I will post this like later today, so that way you can kind of get like a still shot of it too. But for this example, let's go ahead and use the black paper again. I just kind of want to show the contrast of it. Give me a second. Okay, so with this one, let's go ahead and use the pointed pen option. So basically, with pointed pen, it's not like it's tricky, but it requires more patience to it. So I will be using the paintbrush again as well for this example, and I'm gonna be dipping my paintbrush back into the water again, and just basically making sure that this is like a thick, creamy texture as well. So after working your water into the pigments, let's go ahead and grab your pointed pen. And again, this is the holder by Ink Me This, and this is the blue pumpkin nib. And you basically have to like draw strokes onto the nib itself. So you basically have to put like a generous amount, just kind of like get the coating started. And then after you're done with that, you basically now kind of like tap the excess ink off. So because I added a lot of ink, you're just gonna go ahead and go directly over the palette and just go ahead and like kind of shake it off a little bit, just to make sure that it's not so like our goal is just to make sure that it's just like on the nib and sitting there, and it's not directly just like I guess it's gonna affect the way you write too if there's too much ink on it. So now with that, let's go ahead. I like to do test runs because every time I do it doesn't mean that it's always gonna apply on. So okay, so that one works out. Let me go ahead and put a little bit more pigments to it and just tap the excess off. Okay, so let's go ahead and start lettering with the nib. I haven't used a nib in a long time. So basically with the nib, I've noticed that after every couple of letters, you do have to kind of apply the ink back on as well.
Yeah, I always found whenever I used these paints with a nib,
Yeah,
you have to reload it quite a bit more than you do with normal
with
ink.
the paintbrush and stuff like that. Yeah, so after like every couple of letters, I'll go ahead and reload. Someone told me that I don't need to do that, but I don't know. I write really big, and then with even with pointed pen, and I think I just let a lot more ink run out too. But I mean, like everyone's different on how they use this with pointed pen. So like, not that it's not my favorite option, but it's just a little bit more time consuming.
Yeah, and you have to make sure that you're using decent quality paper as well if you're going to do it with a pointed pen, because that can be a real
Yeah.
pain.
No, because right now I'm using the cardstock and it's getting caught into the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I totally get that. But basically,
Um,
yeah, go ahead.
so just while you're writing, someone asked about using gold on craft paper. Have you ever tried that? And which gold, if so, do you find looks the best on craft paper?
Craft paper. Um, Craft paper is really similar to like cardstock, right?
It's yeah, but it's like brown. The brown.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sorry. Oh my gosh, yes. I feel I feel really silly now. Oh yeah, the craft paper. We can give it a try. Let me go ahead and grab some craft paper. I haven't done them in a long time, but honestly, what I remember though, any gold color look, I think it just depends on the contrast that you're looking for, but all the golds here, it looked great.
yeah, actually, it might be really helpful to show if you want to just do little swatches on craft paper for this person who's asking.
Yeah, totally.
Um, but I find like these golds that Shelly's showing on the page are always like my favorite go-to
Yeah.
opaque golds to use on anything. So if you're looking for a really good gold to use on whatever paper you need, these are always a great option.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, like when you look at the Pearl Color palette, like they are a little bit more on the costly side, but it's a great investment. Like I've had this since like 2015. You know what I mean? Like I still use like a good amount of it. I don't use it every day, but I still have like tons of like pigments left over. These ones, the reason why it's like almost gone is because I didn't know what I was doing before when I first got them. So that's the reason why it's almost gone. But usually they should last for a long period of time. Yeah. But did you see the pointed pen? I hope that kind of like gave an example and just kind of like seeing how that worked
Yep, that's
with
great.
that. Awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab some craft paper. So hang tight.
So there's one question that just came up um, that I think I can answer while Shelly is running away for a second. Someone asked about a brush letterer who wants to learn how to use a nib. And I have a YouTube video all about that. And there's also some information on it if you were to start the Show Me Your Drills program, which is the free program that I run to learn calligraphy. So you can go through the rest of my YouTube channel and find the video about pointed pen because I talk about how to get it all set up, how to choose your supplies, and all that kind of stuff. So that's a whole nother YouTube video topic that I don't think we need to get Shelley to go into.
Yeah, oh no, yeah, go ahead and follow Becca on her YouTube channel. Working with pointed pen, I mean, it definitely was a challenge for me because I was so used to brush lettering, so I didn't know what to expect, but definitely, it's definitely worth trying because I think it's like really good to be versatile in different mediums too.
For sure.
Yeah, so I found some craft paper, yay! So let's go ahead and do some swatches with the gold.
Yeah, even if you want to just do like a square of each one, just so we can see the contrast of them, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember exactly. Okay, but do you see that okay? Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And yeah, no, feel free. I mean, I'm just drawing squares. Feel free to ask any questions, everyone, if you're curious about anything.
Yeah, so let's use this as the opportunity to throw some questions at Shelley, whether it's about using these paints or if you want to just ask her anything about her and her business in general.
Yeah, no, feel free to let me know.
Yeah, you can definitely see the difference in those golds.
Yeah. So like depending on like like what color gold it is and like, of course what paper I'm using, I know that once it dries it's gonna come up more, but I tend to just kind of just add a few more like droplets of the pigment just to kind of like make sure that when it does dry, it's like an even gold that I'm looking for. Yeah. Becca, do you have any questions for me?
I'm trying to think. What has been your favorite project ever?
Project. Oh, that's a lot of cool. Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
That's a
Not a
heavy
lot.
question.
Yeah. Okay, no, I mean all my projects have been really great and fun. I think on like in reality though, my again, I love every project that I ever worked with different companies, but when I worked with my tins, I also worked with a publisher. So I think that's like my fun project just because it was just something different. It was like I was writing a book but in a flashcard form.
Yeah, so if anybody doesn't know what tins you're talking about, maybe just explain what those are.
Yeah, so basically, I have two versions of them: the modern calligraphy and the Art Deco one. And they're basically instructional, like step by step flashcards. So, if you take a look at the flashcards, it basically has an example of one of like the full letter on one side, and basically, if you flip it over, it has like the step by step breakdown of each of the strokes. Yeah, so then, and that's same also for Art Deco. And that concept was something that I wanted to create because I'm honestly like I love books too. I think books are great, but some people like we all we learn differently. and sometimes books can be a little bit overwhelming, especially if like you're on the go a lot and you're not willing. I guess you don't want to like take take the time to like sit down and just kind of like read a whole book.
Hmm.
It was just kind of like a quick way just to go ahead and kind of see how lettering could work. Okay, I know I'm like really slow at drawing or painting this
No, that's okay. The someone said this is very, very helpful to see the different swatches. So,
Oh yeah, no, I'm so glad. And I know on their website they're really good about showing the contrast, but of course it doesn't like show for like every palette they have though.
oh wow, that one looks beautiful.
I know. Oh my gosh, this one is their I can find their name for that one. I think it's their moon gold. It is a really pretty color.
That one just looks really like it contrasts really nice on the craft paper.
Yeah, and I think because it's the lightest, like all like craft paper, it's not gold, but it's a very similar like tone to all the other colors.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Someone asked if these can be mixed with gouache.
With gouache, okay, I've tried it like once. I You can, but I think with gouache because it's a little bit on the thicker side, it tends to take over. So then the metallic is not as present in the mixture.
Right. But because they are so you can mix gouache with water. That like
You can,
theoretically, yes, you could
yeah,
mix them.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. No, and I think it's just like all like trial and error. Like give it a try and see like how much like I guess how much water you could add to make the metallic pop as well. Yay! So we're all done. So those are the squares to kind of see the contrast. No, great questions, and I'm glad that you're you wanted me to demo that.
Are you able to hold it up to the camera a little closer?
Yeah, totally. So basically,
Wow. Beautiful.
yeah. So it's just like a really fun. It's just super fun. Honestly, I just think the contrast is great, and it works with like the other colors too. So let me go ahead and give like a quick example. This is like their vintage palette. And it was my favorite because it had a mixture of golds and pinks in it. Let me go ahead and do like a pink swatch, and you can kind of like see how that would show up on the paper as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
So just as you're doing that, someone asked if you are coming back to the San Francisco Bay Area next year.
Oh, I want to. I really do. I love S7. It's like not very far away from me. I'm gonna yeah, I'll definitely try to make it out there just for you.
Well, and then someone else asked if you have any workshops planned for Toronto, which I think you should because you should be coming to Canada.
I know. Oh my gosh, no, I love Canada. And I want to. So I'm okay. I know last time I know it's not close to New York. Last time I was in New York, I thought about making a trip out there, but I'll definitely consider it this for next year. Thank you.
You should.
Yeah. And I can go visit
Um,
you, Becca.
yes, you should. So, and then this is a good question that you can actually talk for a little longer about while you're
Yeah.
finishing up those swatches. Someone asked, how did you go about getting your business going?
With okay. So yeah, one of the main advice that I always offer people is basically just throw yourself out there. For a really long time, I was really self conscious about my artwork and I just thought it wasn't good enough. So I never actually wanted to post it. I never was kind of like, I didn't know how other people were going to see my artwork. But the minute I stopped, listening to that, I guess like that mindset, and I just threw my work out on there on social media, that's when kind of like all the opportunities came. So I'm not too sure like if you're just getting started with this, but if you are, just always remember to throw your work out there, no matter what it is, because you don't know, like, and you'll be amazed about the opportunities that do come your way.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, my business was probably similar to yours in that it kind of started by accident when I just started posting stuff on Instagram. I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to start a business, but here we are.
No, no, totally. Yeah. So really fast, here's a pink one. So just kind of like see the contrast. And I think it's like so fun.
Yeah, those are really pretty.
Yeah. But no, definitely was starting our business. So I mean, like, it was tricky, and I didn't study like business in college. I had like a different path. So like, honestly, like we all start somewhere, and I think it's like, yeah, I'm still learning as I go, and I think I could speak for a lot of people with that, but just throw your work out there and just see, because you never know, you'll be amazed about the opportunities that do come your way.
Love
Yeah.
it.
And this is basically the other one that we did earlier with the pink and the gold. Yeah.
Oh, that looks so pretty when it's
Yeah.
dry.
Yeah, right? Like it just looks so different, and it just like captures like another I don't know. I really like it. So that's like a fun one. It's just that I love metallics, but it's like so hard to capture in a photo. It's
Yeah,
so
it's true.
sad. Yeah. But also one other tip I wanted to go ahead and offer as well is that I didn't do this till like a year and a half later, and it's because I was like self-conscious of throwing my work out there. I basically didn't have a website for a long time. I didn't want to have a website because I didn't want to focus on only doing this as a business. I just kept thinking it was going to be a hobby. But the minute I made a website, so many opportunities came as well. It just like there was more traffic that came to my page, and definitely opening up like a Facebook page, and like of course Instagram. It definitely opened up a lot of other doors that I didn't know that I was going to open up to.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a super fancy, amazing website. It just has to have a place where people can contact you, really.
Totally. Yeah. And that's all that companies are looking for.
So I don't know if you want to put the camera back on your face just for us to wrap
I
up.
know. I know. Like talking. Yeah. No. I talk. Is this good?
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect.
Awesome. No.
Oh, and we forgot to mention that we were wearing the same shirt for this
Oh,
conversation by accident.
yes. No. It's. I love gray, so that's so fun.
So funny.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Shelley. That was awesome. And I think we answered all of the questions that have come up so far. So,
Oh, good. Yeah. I mean, if you have any other questions, feel free just to email me after and just yeah, let me know. I'd be happy to support you in any way because I know how challenging this whole like journey can be. Yeah.
yeah, and you're in the Facebook group now, so I'm sure you'll see comments coming up on this video later on.
Okay, awesome.
Um, but what is like what's coming up in the world of Shelley, and where can people find you after this?
Oh, yay. Okay, so oh yeah, so I'm really excited. I'm going to go to Australia, and like I'm leaving on Sunday. Yeah, I'm gonna go see Han writing. We're gonna go do like a dual workshop together about pointed pen, brush lettering, and also our watercolor classes. So we're doing them both in Melbourne and Sydney. So
Oh,
if you
that's awesome.
have time and if you are wanting to learn this hobby, feel free to join us. We would love to have you.
So is
And
the sign up for that on your website?
it is on my website, yes.
Okay, so I'm
Website and my Instagram link as well. Yeah, so
perfect.
everything. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, other fun things. Just a few weeks ago, I got invited to go to Apple and like talk about my journey and just share everything. So that was in New York, and that was in just an incredible experience.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's high
Yeah,
up there on the things that
that it
are
was
a
just
dream.
it was unbelievable. I was like, oh, why do you want me? I even asked them that too. Like, I'm curious to see. Not that I'm not like like flattered or confident. I don't know. I'm curious to see like how they found me. So I tend to always ask that.
That's
Yeah.
really awesome.
But other than that, I don't know other projects. Like there are so many things going on, but I guess I'll just announce them on social media. And yeah, you can find me at Letters by Shells on Instagram. And yeah,
That's awesome.
I'm
Cool.
mostly active on Instagram. So yeah,
Aren't we all?
I know. I think it's just like a fun and easy way to communicate with others.
For sure.
Uh,
So, well, thanks again, Shelley. That was great. And again, this will be available for replay for anybody who wants to actually go buy those paints and then come back to this and try it out.
Yeah.
But I think other than that, that's it for now.
Yeah, no. And I think one thing I wanted to mention as well is that when I first bought my Pearl Color set, um, honestly, I wasn't sure on like how I was gonna like it. I remember wanting it for like months, and I would like go to the craft store and like hang on to it, and then I'd put it down, and then I would buy like cheaper gold paints that like I felt like would could do the same job. But I think this is like the best gold palette that I've ever worked with, and in terms of like metallic paints too. So like the investment is a little bit more like costly, but it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree because I have a whole drawer full of bad gold
Yeah.
pens and
Yeah, right. And like, and I'm not saying that because like I worked with them. I bought their pigments way before they even asked me. So that's why I got really excited when they asked me to. So,
yeah,
uh,
the best.
but yeah,
Cool. Well, thanks again so much, Shelley, for being on here, and
yeah,
I'm sure we will
for me.
see some comments and stuff on this video after we're done.
Yeah, and I'd be happy just to check in and respond back to everyone. So yeah, please comment all your questions. I'd be happy to see them.
Awesome.
Yay.
All right, Shelley, well, I'll let you go. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
That's good. Thank you, Becca, for having me.
Okay,
Appreciate you. Bye.
bye.